I'm recording. Good morning. You see, yesterday I put my rat on my jacket, right? And somewhere throughout the day I lost it. And when I went to find it this morning, couldn't find it anywhere. Looked everywhere, high and low, been looking everywhere for an hour. So I was right to keep it on my hat, because it's on my hat, I can see it there, and then I'll take it off and I'll put it on the table out the way. But when it's on here, it falls off somewhere through the day because I completely forget about it. Anyway, excuse me for a minute. I'll just come back with me coffee. It's a bit nippy this morning, but you know that 2 steps forward and then 1 step back? Or is it 1 step forward and 2 steps back? Well, I had a 2 steps forward the other day and a 1 step back. But I now feel as if I've just gone forward a step. So I'm back where I was a couple of days ago. I've got something important to tell you. I've just implemented a decision, partially implemented it anyway, that I've made. That's strategic, and it will have implications. I hope positive ones. It could have negative ones. It will have negative ones. But I'll tell you what they are, what I think they'll be. Anyway, the first thing is that the Royal Mail finally set up the codes for the age verification on click and drop. They're now active. Came in this morning, saw they were there, activated them. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Got that done. Then I jumped onto dealing with the Guernsey order that I had, which was compounded. It was part of the problem was that I didn't send the the packet with the CN22. I didn't realise I had to. I now know what it is. It's in my head. But the problem, it didn't get through to the customer, so he opened up. He got in touch with me. I told him to open up an item not received case. Investigated it, realised that I hadn't done the CN22 after doing some research, but the time was ticking away to deal with it, and I couldn't just send it because he'd bought a pair of scissors. And they bought the scissors before the age verification requirements came in, and now the age verification requirements are in place. It meant that I had to get age verification set up on the computer with the Royal Mail, and that took longer than anticipated. Finally did it this morning. I was able to actually produce a label with the CN22, which I had to manually write out for 3 items, some thimbles, some tape measures, and a pair of complicated curved scissors, specialist scissors. And that was fine, that was good, did all that. That was an experience. Well, I've had plenty of experience of doing that because I send international to America via Etsy. So I'm familiar with that. It's just that with Etsy, it kind of pre-populates most of it. Here I had to do it manually. That's fine, that's okay. So I was able to produce the label, the packet, but eBay was on my case because I'd gone 1 day beyond the requirement to deal with the customer. But I'd written to him. But today I've written to him, concluded the matter, updated the actual field with the new tracking. That should close that matter. Pressure off. Look, there's an element of relief. You know how you've got something that hangs around in the back of your head, and every time you think about it, you get a little anxiety attack. One of them, you know. Anyway, so that's good. I can finish that now. Age verification and the CN22 out the window. Done. But the other big thing that's been concerning me is that yesterday I had two zips returned. I mean, these are quality zips. There's nothing wrong with them. The customers returned them and says that they didn't fit. They didn't fit. Okay, I can understand 1 every 6 months, but I've had 2 in 2 days. Okay, it's just probably a coincidence. But it's on top of others. I've had about 6 or 7 cancellation requests in the last couple of days. Also, three items not received. I've put a post in one of the groups, and somebody might see it. But when you send something by click and drop, the details are supposed to migrate over to eBay, and then the customer is supposed to get a view of the items dispatched, it's in transit, and it's delivered, kind of thing. There's 3 steps. For quite a few of mine are just not being updated, and it looks like I haven't sent them. The tracking number's there, but one customer called me a liar today. I mean, she's bought from me before, and she's received from me, and now she's saying I'm a liar. So anyway, you can't, when they get into that kind of language, they're pissed. So I thought I just refunded it. Can't be dealing with it. I got a funny feeling that my performance has been shattered, and I bet you any money there's a risk of my losing my TRS status with eBay. So, which is a concern for me. It's not because I value the TRS status. So what, you get it, you got the status, but it has implications for search and for views and future sales. You could be nobbled by it. I've seen people basically talking that oh, I've lost my TRS status and I've just got it back. It's taken me 6 months, kind of thing, and in that time they've had to battle away. So it's a concern. So I can only think that the reason why customers are cancelling on me is because they're seeing that I'm too expensive. I got the cost per product plus package and postage of £2.29, and I did that because I thought, if I'm going to sell anything, I want to make a profit on it. I don't want to be a busy fool. I find that I keep going through these phases where I think I don't want to keep sending stuff out and not making a profit on it, and I lose sight of what the original objective was, and so I start changing the prices back to I make a profit, and it makes me more expensive in the marketplace. So I've made another decision, a strategic change, and what I've done some scenario planning, and I've looked to see what will happen if I change all my listings to a 99p package and postage, because I think 99p is something that they can swallow, and change it to second class from first. So I've just done it. Most of my listings, I've got some more work to do, but the deal is that it's going to be the cost per product plus 99p package and postage, and for each additional item 9p. But I also set up combined postage on the account the other day. So customers shouldn't have any objections or any barriers to purchasing. You want second class, you want a lower price, you're going to have to go second class. The vast majority of my competitors are at second class, so I'm joining them. But I've gone in at a price, the lowest possible price now, plus 99p. For some orders, I'm going to lose several pence. 10p, 20p, 30p, whatever. But if they buy multiple purchases, then I'll start making a profit, which is what I want to do with the free second class model anyway. So now I'm going to start reworking all my listings to migrate what I've got into a new profile with 48 free, and I'll do that over the next several months. And I'll operate a free 48 postage model, and to deal with the concern I have with managing price increases from the raw mail going forward, I'm going to migrate my listings into a postage profile that's specific or unique to that product stream. So take zips, for instance. I'll create a postage profile just for zips, and all my zip listings will migrate into that postage profile, which will be a free 48 model. So that if the Royal Mail puts the prices up in the future, and I'm caught out because I don't have enough time to change all those zips, because there's about 280 listings for the zips, and I could be there for 2 weeks working through something like that. Maybe 2 or 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day even, until it's done. But to manage it, I'll do is it'll be a free 48 profile. But when the price goes up by, say, I said it the other day, by say 13p, I'll just go and change it from free to 13p postage. So they'll get it second class for 13 pence. And then I'll rework that profile and everything that's in it. And I'll just go in and I'll increase all my prices by the 13 pence until it becomes a free 48 profile again. And then I can move on to the others. And now I'll probably need about 30 profiles altogether, because I've got 30 product streams that I want to manage. So I've got one for thread, I've got one for zips, I'll have one for fabric, I'll have one for ribbon, I'll have one for sewing aids. Sewing, that's got about 200 items, 300 items in it. And then with buttons, for instance, I've got 2 streams maybe even 3 streams, 3 different product categories that I'll want. And then there's narrow fabrics, like webbings and things like that. A lot of products that you can't see, that are tucked away in there. And so I'll end up with about 30 product profiles. And it should be easier for me to manage, because then I can prioritize, one of the products I sell is curtain tapes, for instance. And there's a lot of, you can buy them by the whole roll. And we're not talking about a large letter there. We're talking about a parcel. One of the things that's worked to my advantage, the reason why I can do what I've just done, is because of the new rates that I've got with the tracked services, 48 tracked and 24 tracked. They're lower than what I've been used to. It's a big advantage for me, because it's because there's a big gap in. Trust me, if you've got the volume right and you're on click and drop, go and investigate track services. You have to go on their website, on Royal Mail website, and you have to search for it, and it will give you a page where you can apply. It won't give you any rates or anything. You just have to make an application. You have to apply, and the salesperson, the account manager at the other end, will receive the request, and he'll analyse your history, and then they'll contact you and have a discussion, and they'll make an offer. They'll tell you what the price is, and they'll say that you have to do 1,000 a year, and you'll get that in writing, and you have to accept or decline it. I looked at. She told me that I did 1,200 parcels last year and 12,000 large letters, so I kind of qualified for it. And when she said to me that I have to do 1,000, just 1,000 to qualify for that track services, I thought, yeah, it's a no-brainer. I can do it, and I kind of kept it sort of in reserve for a whatever. But now it's become a core part of my strategy, track services, because that's what I'm offering on my shop. Last night I had a chat with the postman, the guy that came to collect my dinner. My bags. Because I'm sending 48 and 24 in both regular and tracked, I've had to have 6 bags, because there's all different types. So I need more bags than ever before. That's why I need to migrate everything over to second class, so I can get back down to using fewer bags. But I had a discussion with him, and I talked about this track services, and he said to me, he said, yeah. He said, internally, the message is that the track service is the flagship product. It's the thing that they're really, their future is dependent on it, and they're protecting it and prioritising it, and they keep calling them in for briefing sessions, and they keep saying to them, whatever happens, you have to deliver 48. You have to deliver tracks. You can't let it be late. It's got to be prioritised over everything. And it's obvious, because they want to keep the business. And he said to me, Jonathan Livingstone Seagull, if you ever get a chance to read the book, Jonathan Livingstone Seagull, it's an absolute must. It's an essential read. It's a very thin book. It's only about that big, right? It's a delightful read, but it's really important that you read it. It's about the mind is the only barrier, right? Read it. Jonathan Livingstone Seagull. I've got them around me. There's loads of them flying around, all around here to remind me. So the track products, the track services are very, very important to Royal Mail, because their internal message is that they're losing a lot of business to every. So it's their fight back, right? So anyway, that's that. The other thing on what I wanted to talk about is I feel now as if in the past I always felt as if I was selling by first class. Sending items first class is what customers wanted, and by offering first class, it differentiated you from the masses of eBay sellers that are in my category, because the vast majority of them sell at 48, either 48 free or 48 plus a price of 99p or 50p or something like that, package and postage. But they operate at that segment because it's all about price. A commodity, this zip, for instance, YKK zip, everyone in my sector can get this zip from the same wholesaler. It's the same 10-inch black zip. There's no difference between this zip and the zip that they're selling, my competitors. It's all the same. And the only thing that the customer can use to differentiate the product or the service is the price. And my price has always been more expensive. They can see they can get first class. But, they look at the price and they say the price is important to a lot of people. the difference in first class and second class, this probably makes my product maybe 60, 70, 80p a pound even more expensive than everyone else. So that's why I'm losing sales. That's why they're booming and I'm not. But one of the options is that you give the customer the chance to upgrade. So eventually I'm going to do 348 with an option of upgrading to first class for an extra 50, 60p or something like that, and even an upgrade to tracked. Today, the profile that I've got, the first class profile where I charge 229, I've just changed that now to 99p, but I've changed it to second class to 48. 48 for 99p. Hopefully that will basically stop people cancelling. I've looked at the numbers and I am going to lose in some areas, but I'll reconcile that and put that right as time goes by. However, I'm just like any other seller now. There's nothing that differentiates me between their service and their product and my service and product. I've got to up my game somehow. And my understanding is that the only way that you can up your game is by adding value. And I don't know how to add value yet to this new 48 product, service. But it reminded me of a time when I was in my mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s. Yeah, it was early 30s actually. And I worked in a call centre, and there was a flagship product that was basically failing because the manager actually turned out to have cancer, but she took quite a bit of time off. Eventually she passed away. It's a shame. She's a lovely person. I mean, a really nice person. But whilst all this was going on, the team was in a mess, and their team refused to answer the telephone. And I was asked to go over and take over this team, and it was a team of lads, working class lads, nothing. It was in a call centre of stockbrokers. They took instructions from customers to buy and sell shares over the phone, but they refused to answer the phone. And it got into a bit of a mess, and had something to do with the fact that every call was beginning with a complaint, and it was tying the staff up for 10, 15 minutes on the call. Every single one of them was demanding to speak to a manager, yet the manager wasn't there. So I was asked to go over there. I wasn't told what the problem was. I just said, go over there and sort it out. I said, sort one out. And they said, go and sort it out. This is the thing with me, you see. If there was a problem somewhere in the department, that's where they turned to me. Because most people didn't want to deal with it. Didn't have the resilience to do it. Me, I was quite happy to, because I'd gone through the route on the telephones, you see. I knew how to deal with the customers, and I knew how to talk to the staff that were doing the job. I understood, I empathised with them. And the only way, what they wanted to see was somebody sorting out the mess. So I went down the pub, down the off-licence. I bought a crate of lager. I came back, I stuck it in the middle of the team. I said, answer the bloody telephone and we'll have a drink at the end of the week. But I promise you, I will deal with every complaint that comes through, right? Just pick up the bloody phone, right? All right, Mart, they said. They started answering the phone. Mark, got a customer to speak to you, not a problem. I put them on. I had 2 phones to my ears. I talked to them and said, listen, I'm the new kid on the block here. I've just been asked to come over and deal with it. I need a good few days to actually deal with your complaint. But trust me, I will promise you I'll get back to it. I'll get back to you. Just give me another couple of days. I was that frank and forthright with the customers. Well, all right, they'd say, all right, we'll give you a chance. And that was it. What happened? That first day, I discovered that there was a lot of correspondence under this manager's desk. So I got some pasting tables out, put them up against the wall, got everything out, organised it all, and as I could see, there was lots of checks and complaints. I'd just gone through a relationship split at the time. I was bruised inside. And so it was the kind of challenge I needed, really, because I just threw myself into the job and stayed there till 3, 4 in the morning on my own, just going through all the complaints, dealing with them, It took me 3 days to clear it. 3 days. Quite an achievement, really, back then. Because a lot of it was very simple, straightforward. It's just customers wanted to, have you received my check? Why isn't my money on my account? Where's that? I've written a complaint letter. Why haven't you responded? That kind of thing. And all they wanted to do was get in and buy and sell shares. And these were frequent traders. These were people that came in on 3, 4, 5 times a day to buy and sell shares. And these guys that were answering the phone were supposed to be the best, But they were the best. They were good, but they were quick and they were accurate and they would get the job done. But they couldn't. because the manager hadn't failed them. She just actually wasn't in a position to support them. And at the time, the marketing executives and the lawyers, the legal department, they were always in the department, hovering in the background, watching what was going on, because they'd gone into the press to make bold statements that, that you're going to get through within 20 seconds and you're going to deal with the best telephone stuff. And yet here, no one was answering the phone. It was a big problem. I sorted it out in 3 or 4 days. I think I got a bit of kudos, but no one saw what I did. So anyway, after a few days of sorting this out, one of the lads turned around to me and said, "Hey, Mars," he said, "you do know that the previous manager was on £1,500 a year more than you, don't you?" I said, "How do you know that?" He said, "I've got contacts." His auntie worked in payroll, right? And I was pissed off. So I went to my manager. I said, "Oi," I said, she was on £1,500 more than me. And she said, "Yes, and?" I said, "Well, come on. You've asked me to do that job. And why can't I be on £1,500 more?" She says, "You can when you add value." And to me, that was management speak. Talking shit. Add value. What does that mean? Add value. You know what I mean? It really did me head in. So, I was non-stop thinking about it, because I get stuck in loops, I do. And so I found myself thinking about it non-stop, adding value. And one morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, standing at the bus stop, suddenly realised something, that I'd basically heard of value before, often. We all have. And it was VAT, value added tax. I thought, how is it that the government can identify value, quantify it, and then bloody tax you on it? What is value? You know what I mean? Where do they get this 20% from? In those days, it was 17.5%. And then I realised that, it was a price plus 17.5%. Price plus 17.5%. So it was plus 17.5%. And I thought, well, hold on. They're paying me, at the time I was on 15 grand, right? They're paying me 15,000. And she's saying that I'll get a pay rise when I add value. So when I add 17.5%, I thought, right? So I thought, okay. So, and then it realised that, when I stayed behind to clear all the backlog of complaints and admin that associated with this particular problem, I did it without anybody knowing, because I did it at night. Nobody was there to see me do it, right? And they just know that they came in the next morning, the problem had been solved. They had their own problems to deal with, so nobody was really interested in what I had to do, what I was doing, but they just didn't see me do it. They were glad that I'd cleared the mess, but they just thought it was magic, abracadabra, he solved it, just like that. What a wonderful manager, right? But they didn't see what work went in behind the scenes. So I went back into her office and said, this is value added. She said, yeah. I said, well, did you realise that I stayed behind till 3, 4 in the morning the other day to basically clear the backlog to get you out the shit? And she said, no, I didn't know that. And she said, you wait there. And she went in, she spoke to her boss. 10 minutes later, she came out, she said, you got your £1,500. It brings tears to my eyes now thinking about it, because it definitely did then. Because it was an independent discovery. I discovered what value was. And it's whatever you do, you have to add value, right? If you want more money. You've got to basically show your customer or your manager or your wife or your spouse where you are doing more than what they expect, right? So then I did some more investigation on it, did a bit of reading on value, and I learnt a lot about value. And then I came up with something that I was able to use to express myself. And it goes like this. 4 bottles of water or glasses of water sitting in a row. Each glass has water in it from the same tap. You go to the tap, you put water in it, you've got 4 glasses of water, the same. My price to you is 5 pence, 10 pence, 50 pence, £1. You're thirsty, you want a drink, which one are you going to buy? 7, 8, 9 out of 10 people will go for the 5p glass. Why? Because they can see it's the same as the £1 glass, so they're going to use the price to differentiate the product, right? Because it's the only way that they can see what's different about it. It's all the same, it's 5p. I'm going to go for the 5p one, so they buy the 5p glass. Of course you would do. You always get 1 or 2 people that go, no, I want to buy the £1 glass, because they think the water is the same. It's different, rather. But it's the same bloody water. It's out the same tap. Okay, so let's take the £1 glass, I thought. Let's add some ice to it. So we've got now a nice cold glass of water. Let's put some juice in it. You can have orange, lemon, lime, whatever you want, raspberry. Let's put some orange juice in it. Let's put a slice of orange on it, a bit of vitamin C. Let's put a straw and umbrella. So you got a nice, cold, refreshing glass of orange juice with an ice and a slice, right? And the price is 5 pence, 10 pence, 50 pence, a pound, right? 7 out of 10 people will go for the £1 glass of refreshed orange juice, right? But why? And the reason why is because when they see all the extras, the added extras, the added value, right? They don't see the price. The price is irrelevant. And big business marketing executives know this secret because they apply it to women in a big way, because women, they know that women go into a store, they always turn left and they walk around the store and then they come back out. They know that. And they know that if they're able to show and demonstrate the value to women, then they don't see the price. They just don't. It's just not a factor. As long as it's got this added extra in some way, something special, a little embellishment on the top, right, which is basically a plain white t-shirt, but they've got a little embroidered feature on there. They can basically turn a £2 t-shirt into $19.99. You know what I mean? Just because of the added value. And you say to men or women, say, well, it's just a white t-shirt with a little embroidered. I don't care. I'm having it. Right? But if you're a vanilla person and you realise what this is all about, you'll go for the $1.99 t-shirt because you say, I'm not succumbing to it. I'm not, whether it's like me, I think to myself, do I want to go and buy a Nike hat or a New York NYC, right? I went and look at them, 28, 29, £30. And I thought, well, no, a £5 Matalan hat will do me, right? I'm a vanilla man. And that, I think, is really what I wanted to talk about today. I've got to find a way now to differentiate my products offering. I've got to add something, and I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to investigate, I'm going to research, I'm going to find out what it is. I'm going to do something that gives them added value, whether it's putting an extra something in, like a packet of needles. You know, I could put a packet of needles in. The only thing is I get the same customer coming back all the time, so I don't want to keep sending them the same bloody packet of needles. So it's got to be something that I give to the customer, something that is, maybe even, it could be something as simple as basically putting a sticker, a different coloured sticker on the back, saying thank you. This is an embellishment, really. I'm going to look into it. It's something that I want to do. I've got to try and add value in some way. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I've been talking for 27.5 minutes. I do appreciate the views that you're giving me. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask them down there. The comments actually help the algorithm, apparently, as do the likes. So like, share and subscribe. Thank you. Speak to you later. Bye.